Thank you for watching KNBSTV. My name is Tony Lewis, and welcome to the show. In this show, we have two very special guests. One of them is Dr. Lewis Weintraub. Welcome.
Tony, thank you. Pleasure to be here today.
And his wife, Gloria Weintraub. Now, her maiden name under the author's name is Gloria Goldwater. Why? She was married to John Goldwater, the founder of Archie Comics. She wrote this beautiful book titled SUPERFLY, The Untold Story of Hip-Hop. Now, Gloria, what prompted you to write an interesting book like this? Tell us about it.
Well, I always loved hip-hop. When I was a child, my mother had to work, and she used to leave me home, and I didn't know what to do with myself. I was in an apartment, and she told, don't touch this, don't touch that, but I would put the radio on, and I discovered music that I loved. So when she was not home, I would be hopping all over the room. I called it, and everyone else called it, it was a hip-hop. And I fell in love with that and carried on falling in love with that for years. I was fortunate enough and lucky enough to meet a gentleman who admired me, loved me, and asked me to marry him, which I did. And that was John Goldwater, the author and publisher of the Archie Comics. I had a wonderful life and delighted, but I got bored. I don't know, just something was lacking in my life, and I decided one day, when he came home, I said to him, I have an idea. And he said, what? I said, I want to publish a book. He said, you publish a book? I said, yes. I said, I want to publish a book on hip-hop. It's something that I've always loved, and I'd like to write about it, about all the hip-hoppers, because when you go to work, I turn on the radio and I'm listening, and I love every bit of it. He was amused. He thought I was a little nuts, but he really was wonderful in the fact that he did help me, and I found a place an office, and I ran around and came home, and I said to him, I have found a place to work. And he said, what are you talking about? I thought we'd given it up. And I said, no, I finally found an office on Broadway in 57th Street. So, since he was very patient with me and understanding, I went and I got the office, opened it up, and said, now what do I do? And then I started to call up different people that I read about and that I knew, and said that I'm ready, I want to publish it, I am publishing a magazine on hip-hop and all the youngsters that were there today. And the word somehow just spread. All you had to do was talk to one or two persons, and one told another, another told another, and they just arrived in my office. Everybody wanted to join. Everybody wanted to participate. Every guy in town heard about it. One person I started with, the whole town knew. And I have pictures in a book that I have, and which I wrote, and you can see the hallways were flooded with all these hip-hoppers, all the rappers, and everybody thought I was crazy and thought, oh my God, she's crazy. She's there, she is a young lady, and I look pretty good, I tell you. And here I'm surrounded by all these guys who are hip-hoppers and musicians and everything. So, but the most amazing thing I found with them, and I was amazed, there were terrible stories out, but they were wonderful. They were wonderful to me. They came to my office. I used to go to all their shows. They protected me. They sent someone for me. They treated me as if I was like a little delicate flower, and I appreciated that. And one day I came home, found to my terror and I don't even know how to word it, my husband was ill, and he was really quite ill. And I had just, really gotten into the thrust of doing the magazine. I had gotten all the connections. I got word from Europe that they would accept it because they didn't like these type of magazines. And I really was in a bind. I loved him, but I loved what I was doing.
So Gloria, just to clarify for our viewers, the magazine that you were writing at that point, the title of the magazine was SUPERFLY, is that correct?
I decided to make it, yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
And so the magazine, basically, there you go. Okay.
The initial cover.
Okay, this is a cover of the SUPERFLY magazine. Basically what she was doing is writing articles and interviewing different artists. Now, what era are we talking about? What time is this?
Oh, this has to be, let me look. I will have to look at.
It's got to be, what, in the 80s, no? Is
Yeah,
that right, Lou?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay.
it was the late 80s.
Can you show us a photo of some of the artists that you
Oh,
interviewed?
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, here's Flavor Flav,
Flavor Flav, all
one
right.
of the originals.
So many.
Here's Ice-T.
Ice-T, and we'll have our cameraman later in post-production put the photo up on the screen.
Here's a photo of Gloria with a lot of the younger rappers who are trying to get ahead. If you look hard, you'll find Gloria in the photo. Here's an early photo of LL Cool J.
Now, what's this photo here with Barbra Streisand? What's going on with that? Tell us about it. Lou, tell us about the...
Well, what,
Tell us about it, Gloria.
I also was very active for raising money to give to charity. And we were having a big to-do about it, but we needed a name, and we needed a name to attract people to come and do it. Because I was also very, shall I say this, ambitious and wanted the right thing, and I was involved with the Anti-Defamation League. Anyway, one day I saw Barbra Streisand, and I called her and I told her that would she please be a guest. I would like to have an event and have a guest, and she should be my guest. And she said, what for? And I told her, I explained it to her, the money goes to poor people and children and so forth, and the Anti-Defamation League needed some money and so forth. She agreed to attend. And I got home, and my mother, who was working at the time, I tell my mother, and she was very excited about it, and because she loved Barbra Streisand. And she said to me, oh, I have to go too. So I said, I don't know. I said, I don't know, but I'll see if you can. Of course she could. And my mother sat there, and there she saw Barbra Streisand on the stage. And she flipped. And she said, I've got to have her autograph. So I said, I'm not going to ask her for your autograph. I'm busy. I'm in charge of this entire function. Anyhow, I went over to her and I said, I know I really shouldn't ask you this. I know you're a guest and you're performing, but my mother loves you. And I promised her I would ask for an autograph. And she looked at me and she laughed. She said, I'd never give it, but for mamas, I'll do it. I thought that was
That's cute.
great. Yeah.
Now, tell me about this photo with Teddy Kennedy. What's going on with that?
Well, at that time, you know, I was a little smarter, a little wiser, and I was in charge of a function where we were raising money for charity